Today we are taking my 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 back on an off-roading trail. As you guys can see right here, we have been on this trail before, but never in these types of conditions. So the first time we took my 392 on this trail here, it was pretty dry, not too much mud, a little bit of water in the creek. But today we just had a whole bunch of rainstorms for the past few days, so we're definitely going to see a whole bunch of fresh mud, higher water levels as well in the creek, in a little creek crossing there. So it should be a whole bunch of fun. Obviously nothing right now, but later on down the trail we're going to be putting this thing into 4 low and also testing out the downhill descent control. So it should be a fun video and hope you guys enjoy. All right guys, so as you can see, we have approached our first little water crossing here. This is a really small creek. I was expecting the water level to be just a little bit higher, but you know, it's still a creek crossing. We got a few rocks in there. So we're actually going to put the Jeep in 4 low right now. Since we are currently in 4 high auto, I'm actually just going to switch it into 4 high part-time first. So just pull the 4-wheel drive lever back, just like that. Then we will have an indicator right here that says 4 high part-time. That's how we know we are in 4 high part-time, not 4-wheel drive auto anymore. Now to put it into 4 low, we're going to put the shifter into neutral. We're going to coast at around 2 to 3 miles per hour, and then the shifter lever for the 4-wheel drive is going to go right and then all the way back. So we're going to coast a little bit, right, back, and now we can see the traction control is off. We have 4 low indicated right there, and we should be all set to go. We can put it back into drive, and I'm going to put it into manual mode so it'll hold first gear. So let's hit this water crossing. Got a bit of a drop right down here at first. No issues, of course, for the 392. A little bumpy here with all the rocks, but the water actually is not as high as I was expecting it to be. So we're not going to get this thing too deep in the water, but luckily if we did, we do have the hydro guide system up front. Got a nice little incline right here coming out of the creek. Way too easy for the 392, obviously. We probably will get a few scratches here from all these bushes on the sides, so hopefully it's nothing too bad. But yeah, obviously nothing for the 392. We got a few puddles up here. This is nothing whatsoever for the 392 as well. This trail really isn't too much of a challenge for the 392. Last time we came here, I showed you guys like a separate trail that was kind of more steep on an incline and had some more obstacles on it. Now that trail, I do want to try it, but I definitely want to at least have a winch or have somebody with me as well. Today we are alone, so I'm not going to be doing anything too crazy. Just wanted to give you guys a nice POV off-roading session right after a rainstorm. So we got a nice little puddle right here as well. Gonna get a little bit muddy here, but you know, what's the point of having a Jeep if you don't get it muddy at least a little bit, right? All right, so we're in 4 low, second gear right now, going through these puddles here. And for off-roading like this, when it's slow speeds, I do like to keep it in 4 low, just if I do need to slow down and get some more, you know, slow speed crawling ratios, then I do have that with 4 low, obviously. A nice puddle right here as well. So after these puddles, we're gonna have a bit of an incline, and then after that is where the other trail is gonna be that I did want to try whenever I have a winch or when I have somebody else with me that can potentially pull me out if I need to. You know, obviously I don't think it's gonna be much of a challenge for the 392, but if it's something like that, then I definitely want to make sure we're keeping safety in mind, and you know, we're out here in the middle of nowhere in the West Virginia wilderness, so definitely want to make sure we're being safe with stuff like that. So these puddles here, you know, obviously nothing for the 392. It's still fun to drive through these as well. Just cruising down this trail here. We'll switch into 3rd gear now since we are driving a little bit quicker. So if you're in 4 low, 3rd gear is the equivalent of 1st gear in high range. So that's kind of just a quick little thing to keep in mind if you are using 4 low in a Jeep like this. Gonna go back to 2nd for these puddles right here. And then right up there is that incline I was talking about. We do have a small obstacle, just a little bit of a rock ledge that we need to climb up. Gonna go in 1st gear for this. Got some rocks to climb up right here. Got a nice ledge coming up here. Should be right now, yep. Then we're gonna turn over here. So over here to the left is the other trail I was talking about, that I do want to try this trail right here, but as you can see, it is a lot more rocky than what we've been on this trail. It does look a little bit washed out as well from all the storms we've been having. So I definitely do want to try this, just not when I'm alone without a winch as well. So we're gonna keep going down this side here. This is definitely a lot more washed out than I'm used to. Gonna try to keep the ditch in the center here and see how it goes. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a front camera, which would have helped for this kind of situation, because then I could see where the tires are. But, you know, sometimes it's obviously also good to have a spotter as well. So, I mean, for this type of situation, I don't think I absolutely need one. Don't really need a front camera as well. I'm just saying it would be kind of useful. It would be cool to have something like that. So first gear, crawling down this little section down here. No issues whatsoever. All right, there we go. Put it in second gear now. So here we got another downhill section coming up, and I do want to test out the downhill descent control here. So let's go ahead and come to a complete stop, and we got 4 low. First gear, I'm going to hit the hill descent control button, and now we can actually select the speed at which we want to descend with the paddle shifters. So it goes in increments of 0.6 miles an hour. All I have to do is take my foot off the brake, and it's going to slowly crawl down at 0.6 miles per hour. And if I want to go faster, I hit the right paddle. Now we are going 1.2 miles an hour, and I can keep going. I'm not sure what the absolute maximum speed is of the hill descent control, but it is pretty useful for steep hills like this. This one isn't too steep, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back to 0.6, come to a stop, and actually turn it off. All right, and now we can just have full control over it again. Let's drive at a normal pace here. It is a lot more green today than it was last time I was here, which is of course good to see. But sometimes when there's a lot of like green, like grass and bushes on the trail, it's kind of hard to see where all the rocks are and where all the ditches are. All right, so we have come down on this trail here. We have a pretty long ditch right here. And one thing I'm worried about coming down here is we have to kind of drive into the ditch, and I'm worried that since it's so slippery, it's so muddy, I don't want to accidentally fall into the ditch. So it probably doesn't look like much from here, but it is pretty deep. So I'm actually just gonna try to turn around on this section right here. We do have a bit of a ditch right here, but I don't think it should be too deep. I think we should be fine just to turn around in this section right here. So yeah, looking good so far. All right, so we got the Jeep turned around right here. As you can see, we got a little bit of mud on the tires here. We got some leaves and grass all over it. So pretty much I wanted to go down this road here as well, but as I said before, I'm not really sure how I would have done, especially because we were already kind of slipping just turning around here. So I didn't want to accidentally slip and go down into that ditch, especially since I said we are alone. So I definitely didn't want to risk that, of course. Yeah, I just want to get out and show you guys how good the Jeep looks out here in its natural habitat. Looks very good. Very happy with how the Jeep has been performing so far. All right, drive, first gear, and we are still in 4 low. Let's go ahead and get back on the road. I'm gonna go into this ditch here on purpose just to see how it is, how deep it is. Not really too deep, got a little bit of an angle there. Not much though, but got a nice hill climb right here. I will say it is a little bit different in the, like when it's more muddy, it's just a little bit more slippery. The only place that I felt a slip was just whenever we were turning around back there, but other than that, it's really not too bad at all. Obviously this trail is nothing for this Jeep, so I'm sure we could have, you know, gone down there. But as always, you know, safety is always very important, and you always want to make sure that if you're going off-roading, you would definitely want to go with other people, especially if you're going on like an actual trail or farther away. All right, back to first gear. We got this nice little rocky section right here. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try to take the ditch. This might be a little risky because it's very slippery. I don't want to accidentally fall into the ditch, but looks like we did good there. I'm gonna get up on this side here as well. All right, and right up here, like I said, this is the trail that I wanted to try out eventually whenever I have somebody else that can pull me out if I need to, which I don't think is going to be the case. A nice drop off here. All right, and now we are back to this section with these little mud puddles here. There we go. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's always fun to take the 392 out here and just let it stretch its legs. And like I keep saying, these types of trails are pretty much nothing for the Jeep, but it's just fun to come out here and, you know, kind of see what it can do. Play around with the little controls here, some of the off-road features, like the hill descent control that I showed you guys. Use the 4 low, diff lockers if I need to, and just seeing what this thing can do. Got some more puddles coming up here. Another little puddle right here. But yeah, I would say the 392, especially with the Extreme Recon package like I have, there's really not many upgrades that you would actually need to do to make this thing off-road worthy. Most Jeeps are, I would say all Wranglers are already off-road worthy straight from the factory. But if you get like a base model, like a Sport or something, then, you know, usually people do like a lift kit plus bigger wheels and tires, winch, lockers. But of course with the 392 plus the Extreme Recon package, you already have a factory lift. I believe with the upgraded tire size, the 392 is already like 3.5 inches higher off the ground than a base model Wrangler. And then of course with the Extreme Recon package, you do get those 35-inch all-terrain BF Goodrich KO2s on there from the factory. You do of course have the front and rear diff lockers, electronic sway bar disconnect, hill descent control, and pretty much everything that you would need. The only thing that I would put on here to make it, I guess, off-road worthy is a winch, which is what I would like to do in the future. I think that'd be a really good addition. And from what I've heard, the 2024 models of the 392 already come from the factory with a winch. Like, you can get that as an option, which I think is a great idea that Jeep is deciding to do. And I also think that it's great that they did continue to actually keep producing the Jeep Wranglers with the V8 392. I thought 2023 was going to be the last year for the 392 trim because I thought they were just getting rid of all the V8s. But luckily, there's still at least one more year of the 392s, so, you know, we don't have to say goodbye just yet. So down here is the little water crossing. Gonna go down to second gear right now, and then once we get up to this little ledge, I'll go to first gear right now, and now we can crawl down this hill really slow. No brakes, no gas right here, just letting the engine do all the work right now. Going down into all the rocks, into this little creek here. And we'll just make our way back up to this little gravel road section right here, and then be able to drive on the road and have fun with this thing on road, just as much fun as we had off-road. All right, so that's pretty much it for the obstacles. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing back into 4 high auto. So we're gonna do back into drive, neutral, and then we do want to be rolling at 2 to 3 miles per hour. That can be rolling front or back, so since we're on an incline, we're going to be rolling back. And I'm going to put this thing into 4 high part-time, so just roll a little bit. All right, 4 high part-time. As you guys saw there, sometimes it does take a good amount of force to actually get it out of 4 low and into 4 low as well. So since we are in 4 high part-time, put it back into drive. To put it back into 4 high auto, we don't need to put it into neutral because we are, you know, in high range right now. We don't have to do anything like that. Just push it up front, and now we are back in 4 high auto. We are in drive. I'm gonna shift it back into manual to hold first gear, and now we can go ahead and start driving again. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. That is our quick little off-road trip with my 392. Like I said, I wanted to take it out in these different, more rainy conditions. We did have like 2 or 3 days of rainstorms right before this. It was pouring down rain just this morning. So we did have some more water in that water crossing, some more mud as well. And like I said, I definitely wouldn't recommend going off-roading by yourself. I just wanted to go because I'm familiar with this trail and I know where the bad parts are, and that's why I chose to not continue going down that ditch. If I was here with like a friend or if I had a winch, then I probably might attempt it on my own. But like I said, I definitely wouldn't recommend going off-roading by yourself. So of course, 392 did very well as expected, no issues whatsoever. Off-roading with the AC, you know, sitting here, low speeds, 4 low, all of that, no overheating whatsoever, no issues. Definitely a very amazing vehicle. Very happy with how it's been performing over the past 4 or 5 months and the past 3,000 miles. So definitely a very great vehicle, a whole bunch of fun on and off-road. And make sure you guys subscribe for more 392 and XJ videos, and thanks for watching. So one thing I love about the 392 is that once you get done off-roading, you can have just as much fun off the road. And flex on Broncos like that.